Macabre theories have always exerted a strange fascination over animation fans, especially with series that, at first glance, seem completely innocent. Over the years, several animations like Pokémon, Rugrats, and even Adventure Time have inspired theories that bring out dark and unexpected interpretations. With SpongeBob SquarePants, the story is no different. The eccentric and underwater universe of Bikini Bottom is the perfect stage for fans to speculate and create alternative narratives. One of the most popular and darkest theories revolves around Mr. Krabs and the famous secret formula for the Krabby Patty. According to some fans, the secret ingredient is actually crab meat, which would imply that Mr. Krabs is selling burgers made from his own kind. Despite being macabre, this theory has captivated many fans and raised several questions. But what is so appealing about this idea? Why has it resonated so much with the public? And, of course, is there any truth behind this speculation? Let's dive deep into this discussion. The underwater world of Bikini Bottom has always been known for its unique combination of absurdity and reality. Although SpongeBob appears to be a cheerful and carefree children's cartoon, it is, in fact, full of layers that address adult themes, such as critiques of capitalism, consumerism, and even power relations. This is evident in the Krusty Krab itself, which is the economic heart of Bikini Bottom, with Mr. Krabs representing the archetype of the greedy businessman, willing to do anything to maintain his profits. From the beginning of the series, the Krusty Krab has been the focal point of many characters' lives. It's where SpongeBob works as a dedicated cook, where Squidward is forced to endure customers, and, of course, where Mr. Krabs accumulates his wealth. But beyond being a successful restaurant, the Krusty Krab has also become the center of one of the biggest mysteries in the series, the Krabby Patty. Despite its simple appearance, Mr. Krabs' obsession with keeping the secret formula locked away has generated countless fan speculations. In this context, the idea that Mr. Krabs might be using a dark ingredient, such as crab meat, doesn't seem so far-fetched. After all, the show is full of exaggerated characters that reflect extreme real-life behaviors, and Mr. Krabs is a clear example of how the desire for profit can cross ethical boundaries. Bikini Bottom, with all its bizarre humor, provides the perfect setting for this theory to develop, leaving room for macabre interpretations that go far beyond the surface. Mr. Krabs is undoubtedly one of the greediest and most money-obsessed characters in the animation universe. His extreme devotion to accumulating wealth and his concern with cutting costs make him a businessman capable of making questionable decisions to protect his restaurant, the Krusty Krab. This raises the suspicion that he might resort to any method to save money, even one that involves dubious ingredients in his famous Krabby Patties. One of the most intriguing aspects of the character is his emotional attachment to the restaurant and, more specifically, to the secret formula. In several episodes, we see Mr. Krabs willing to face all kinds of adversity just to keep the Krabby Patty recipe safe. This obsession, which at times borders on irrational, is what makes fans believe he is hiding something much darker than just a simple combination of ingredients. Could the formula be linked to a macabre secret that he is trying to protect at all costs? Additionally, there is one particular episode that many fans cite as fuel for this theory. In the episode Plankton's Patty, we see Mr. Krabs react especially nervously when Plankton, his eternal rival, tries to discover what's inside the patty. The way Mr. Krabs dodges questions and his exaggerated reaction to the espionage attempt lead many to believe that something much more disturbing is hidden behind the formula. After all, if it were just a marketing secret, why would he be willing to take so many risks to keep it under wraps? This connection between Mr. Krabs' personality, his greed, and his behavior regarding the formula is the key that fuels the theory. The mystery of the Krusty Krab has never been fully revealed in the series, which leaves room for darker interpretations. But could this obsession with protecting the formula be related to something as drastic as using the meat of his own species? For many fans, this possibility doesn't seem too far from Mr. Krabs' greedy and unscrupulous behavior. One of the details that most intrigues fans and sustains this macabre theory is the apparent absence of other crabs in Bikini Bottom. Throughout the various episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants, we see a wide wide variety of sea creatures: sponges, starfish, squids, crabs, fish, even lobsters and whales. However, crabs are extremely rare. This is not something easily ignored, especially in a cartoon where the protagonist lives surrounded by such diverse species. This specific fact is the central point that led many to believe that Mr. Krabs may have a sinister connection to this absence. Could the fact that we don't see other crabs throughout the series mean something deeper? One possible explanation within the theory is that Mr. Krabs may have eliminated other members of his species to use them in the Krabby Patty recipe. The thought is disturbing, but at the same time, it raises an interesting question. If Mr. Krabs is using crab meat, this would explain why we hardly see other crabs. They were simply eliminated and turned into burgers. This scenario becomes even scarier when we take into account that he is essentially profiting from the extermination of his own species. Another curious detail that fans point out is Mr. Krabs' relationship with Pearl, his whale daughter. One of the biggest unanswered questions in the SpongeBob universe is how a crab can be the father of a whale. Although this is a recurring joke in the series, some darker fans suggest that Pearl is the only survivor of a crab massacre, adopted by Mr. Krabs to cover his tracks. While this idea has no confirmation within the series, it adds to the mystery surrounding the character and increases the impact of the absence of crabs. Whether it's a coincidence or an intentional choice by the creators, the lack of other crabs reinforces the narrative of this theory. What seems to be just a scarcity of a marine species in a colorful city, in the eyes of theorists, turns into an essential clue to a cannibalistic crime in Bikini Bottom. Perhaps it is precisely this absence that makes the theory so popular. It takes a seemingly irrelevant detail and turns it into something disturbing, giving a new dimension to the SpongeBob universe. One of the pillars of this theory is the almost pathological obsession that Mr. Krabs demonstrates in protecting the Krabby Patty's secret formula. Throughout the episodes, this formula becomes a true entity, something so valuable and powerful that he does everything to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, especially Plankton, his rival. But could this obsession go beyond commercial competition and the financial success of the Krusty Krab? What if the secret is something much darker? An interesting detail is that, from the beginning of the series, the formula has never been completely revealed to the public, which further fuels fan theories. In almost all cartoons, the recipe for a popular dish is usually shown or suggested at some point, either as part of a joke or to develop the story. But in SpongeBob, the Krabby Patty formula is treated as one of the greatest mysteries in the show's universe, reinforcing the idea that something very important is being hidden. Mr. Krabs' behavior throughout several episodes indicates that he is hiding more than just a culinary secret. His exaggerated reaction whenever Plankton tries to steal the formula is a clear example of this. Instead of calmly protecting his intellectual property like any businessman would, Krabs frequently panics, as if he is protecting something much more valuable than just a recipe. He even sets up absurd defenses and takes extreme measures to keep the secret safe. This leads many fans to believe that he has more to lose than just money, possibly his reputation or even his freedom, if the secret really involves something as horrific as using crab meat. Moreover, Plankton's obsession with stealing the formula also suggests that he knows more than he appears to. Plankton isn't just a comedic villain who constantly fails in his plans. He's a scientist. And what if he suspects that there's something more to the formula, something sinister, beyond just a simple delicious snack? Plankton's fixation on exposing the truth behind the Krabby Patties reinforces the idea that the secret may be an important factor in the rivalry between the two. The combination of Mr. Krabs' paranoid behavior with the enigmatic nature of the formula raises many suspicions. If it were just a marketing strategy to create mystery around the burger, the series creators could have left clear clues, or even revealed the secret in a special episode. But the fact that this has never happened, even after more than 2 decades of the series, opens the door to speculation about something much more macabre. While the theory that Mr. Krabs uses crab meat to make Krabby Patties is fascinating and full of intriguing details, there are also strong arguments that weaken this speculation. Despite his greedy behavior and clues that could suggest something darker, the SpongeBob series has always maintained a humorous tone, and the idea of cannibalism would be an inappropriate theme for the show's target audience. One of the biggest blows to the theory came directly from the show's production team. In interviews, the creators and writers of SpongeBob SquarePants were asked about the nature of the secret secret formula, and they made it clear that the recipe does not involve anything sinister, like crab meat. While they maintain the mystery around the formula as part of the show's charm, they assured that the idea of cannibalism was never part of the plot. This official confirmation helps dispel any idea that Mr. Krabs is involved in something so macabre. Additionally, there are other episodes that suggest that Krabby Patties are made with common ingredients. In an episode called Not So Secret Patty, there is a hint that the secret ingredient might be a type of plant-based meat, which could explain the unique taste without involving any animal meat. While the complete formula has never been revealed, clues like these indicate that the recipe may be less dark than fans imagine. Another point to consider is Mr. Krabs' own characterization. He is greedy and will do anything for money, but he has never been portrayed as an evil villain or capable of atrocities like cannibalism. His exaggerated behavior and actions are aimed at profit, but always in a comedic and harmless way, keeping the light tone of the show. As obsessed as he is with the formula and the success of the Krusty Krab, it would go against the series' logic to portray him as a real criminal, especially in a show aimed at children. Finally, it's important to remember that the SpongeBob universe is full of absurdities and exaggerated jokes. Many of the situations that occur in the show are the result of the nonsensical and surreal humor that defines the series. It is in this context that we should consider Mr. Krabs' obsession with the formula, not as an indication of a horrible secret, but as an extension of the show's absurd humor, where a simple burger recipe is treated as the most precious thing in the world. The theory that Mr. Krabs is selling Krabby Patties made from his own species may seem bizarre and macabre, but it is precisely this that makes it so popular among SpongeBob fans. The combination of absurd humor with exaggerated characters creates fertile ground for dark and unexpected theories. Additionally, the mystery surrounding the secret formula and the lack of other crabs in Bikini Bottom only fuels fans' imaginations, who love to explore what might be hidden behind such a colorful and cheerful series. Despite the theory being officially debunked by the production and several elements within the show itself that weaken the idea that Mr. Krabs could be capable of cannibalism, the fact that it continues to be discussed proves how much fans love to seek deeper interpretations in their favorite animations. This is something common in many series, especially those that combine childish humor with themes that can be interpreted in different ways by older audiences. In the end, what makes this theory so interesting is precisely the contrast between the lightheartedness of SpongeBob and the dark content it proposes. This type of theory is a way for fans to connect more deeply with the series, seeking hidden meanings and answers to the mysteries that are never fully solved. While it's unlikely that Mr. Krabs is actually using crab meat for his burgers, the theory will live on in the imagination of fans. After all, it's this mixture of humor, mystery, and absurdity that makes SpongeBob one of the most beloved and discussed cartoons of all time. Now, the question remains, do you think the secret of the Krabby Patty could be something even stranger than we imagine?